Welcome to South Sudan Diversity. My name is Tito.
It is the first time for African nations to have a peace initiative in anywhere in the world whereby they are the teams who form their own groups and visit Ukraine and Russia. Russian President Putin on Saturday met with our group of African leaders who traveled to Russia on the South-style peace missions the day after they went to Ukraine. 7 African leaders, the President of Cameroon, Senegal, South Africa, Zambia, as well Egypt's Prime Minister and the top envoy from Republic of Congo, Uganda, visit Ukraine on Friday, trying to have end the nearly 16 months war with Russia. This war actually affects the world entirely, not just only to Ukraine, because both Russia and Ukraine has a lot to offer the world, and this is why African leaders see it as their initiatives to bring peace to these two nations. Tito, South Sudan Diversity.
President, nice to meet you. Good to see you. Very good. Good to see you, President. Really good to see you. Yes. President? I want to extend greetings to you, President Putin, President of the Russian Federation, and indeed also extend my greetings once again to my fellow heads of states, as well as the other colleagues or heads of government and envoys of the presidents who cannot be here. Let me say that we would like to thank you for agreeing to meet us. We are a 7 African nations peace initiative, and we are essentially on a peace mission to try and promote peace between Russia and Ukraine in this conflict. We have some 7 points or 10 points that we would like to raise. Our proposal really revolves around 10 elements. The first, of course, is that we want to listen. We're here to listen, as we did listen yesterday to President Zelensky. He outlined a number of issues to us, and we did tell him that we would be meeting you, where we would also listen to your perspective on this war, and we want to listen with respect and also with recognition of the views that you will put forward to us. But we also recognize the many other proposals that have been put forward by a number of key players in the world who have put forward peace proposals. and our proposals are not in competition with the other proposals that have been put forward. The second point that we would like to raise, a key element of our broad proposals, is that we do firmly believe that this war must be settled, and it must be settled through negotiations and through diplomatic means. The war cannot go on forever. All wars have to be settled and come to an end at some stage. And we are here to communicate a very clear message that we would like this war to be ended. We say so because this war is having a negative impact on the African continent and indeed on many other countries around the world. As a continent, we are being negatively affected in terms of our economies. The prices of commodities have gone up, particularly grain and fertilizer. And the prices of fuel have also gone up. And this is a consequence of the war that is ongoing. And it is for this reason that we are also here, that it is in our collective interest that the war should come to an end. The third point we would like to put forward is that we would like to see a de-escalation of the conflict. The escalation of the conflict on both sides does not enhance the peace process. So we would like to see the conflict being de-escalated as we find a way to peace. The fourth point, which has also been covered in a number of other proposals, is that we recognize the sovereignty of countries in terms of the UN Charter. And yes, in terms of that charter, we believe that all of us should work in terms of internationally recognized principles, and it is for that reason that we would like to submit that we recognize the sovereignty of countries in terms of that charter. The fifth point we would like to raise is that there needs to be a guarantee of security for all countries. This matter has been raised on all sides, that all sides want some guarantees, and we agree with that. The sixth point we'd like to raise is what is affecting our countries, and we would like to call for the opening up of the movement of grains across the Black Sea, so that whatever blockages there are should be opened up, and the grains and commodities must be opened to the markets. The seventh point we'd like to put forward is that we should ensure that there is humanitarian support for those who are in need and for those who are suffering as a result of this conflict. The eighth point has also been raised by President Macky Sall with regard to the release of prisoners of war on both sides. The other issue that is related to this is the children who have been caught up in this conflict should also be returned to where they have come from, their homes. The ninth point for us is that as every war leads to destruction, there should be post-war reconstruction, and we should support the reconstruction that needs to take place beyond this war. The 10th point, President Putin, is that we would like to see further engagements with regard to the processes that will lead to the end of this war. We articulated this point specifically with President Zelensky, and he agreed that yes, as the African continent and as African countries that are here, we can play a role. So we would like to urge that beyond this engagement today, there should be further engagements, because ending wars does tend to take a number of meetings and engagements. And as the African continent represented as 7 countries who are here, we do believe that there's a contribution we can make. And we make this contribution with the greatest respect to both countries, respecting the positions that they have put forward, but also believing that there is a common position that can emerge, a position that can lead to peace. A number of proposals that have been put forward, we believe, lay a foundation for a peace to be found. And this is precisely what we would like to explore, so that all of us together can contribute to bringing this war to an end. Those, President Putin, are the key elements of our proposals that we put forward to President Zelensky, which we also now put forward to you. And we do believe that this is the time for both parties to negotiate an end to this war, because this war is causing a great deal of instability and harm to various countries around the world. And we as African countries are feeling the impact of this war. So this is what we've come here to share with you. And I'd like to end by saying this is a historic mission. The African continent, represented here through the 7 countries, has never really been involved in a mission of this sort. So we would like to say that we've taken this step, believing that, yes, we can contribute, and would like to thank you for giving us the time to listen to what we've got to say, but more importantly, we want to listen to you as well. So thank you very much for welcoming us.
Convey to you, Your Excellency, and to the Russian people, peace between your two. We have been consistently promoting further strengthening of traditionally friendly relations with African countries, and the main regional grouping, the African Union, based on the principles of equality, mutual respect, and non-interference into domestic affairs. This year, our cooperation with African partners on the widest range of issues has been developing rather actively. We are preparing for a landmark event, the second Russia-Africa Summit, to be held soon here in Saint Petersburg. I'm confident that this event will set out new, prosperous vectors of cooperation in political, trade and economic, scientific and technical, humanitarian and other fields. I would like to stress in particular that Russia has deep respect for the principled position of African states in favor of preventing global and regional stability and security, as well as peaceful conflict settlement and creating a just model of international relations. We support your desire to conduct independent, sovereign and peaceful policy. We welcome the balanced attitude of our African friends with regard to the Ukraine crisis. Distinguished friends, we value your interest to settle the conflict. We immediately accepted your proposal to hold negotiations on the Ukraine issue. I know that you have specific ideas and proposals in this context. Together with President of the Republic of South Africa, we discussed it on multiple occasions, and I'm grateful to him for raising these issues. I would like to stress once again we are open for constructive dialogue with all those who wish peace based on the principles of respect for each other's interests, as well as justice. With countries on the African continent is a priority of the Russian foreign policy. We have been consistently promoting further strengthening of traditionally friendly relations with African delegates. I'm president of the African Union to Ukraine, and that has been lasting for a long time already. Your action of the African Union, that is to continue making our contribution to peace between Russia and Africa. Furthermore, we came to listen to you and the world as a whole, and to ensure peace in Africa too. Convey to you, Your Excellency, and to the Russian people, peace between your two Africa. You've always listened to us each time when.
Thanks for watching. Please feel free to suggest any topics to be covered by South Sudan Diversity, and remember to subscribe if you like what you see.